Okay, Baylynn, what I'm going to do is try to help you through YouTube on your spelling words. Mom was kind enough to send me a copy of you diagramming your spelling words, but there's a few things we need to correct, and I want you to practice it before your next spelling test. Your first word that I'm going to help you with is page. Okay, so let's listen to the sounds. P-A-G. Okay, we know it's a silent E word, and what you're going to do is you're going to do the swooping arrow like you did on the pictures that Mom sent me, and the E is saying you say your name. Now this G, let's listen to what sound it really says. Page. So it is saying the J sound. E is zipping his lips, but it is not an open syllable. It is not a closed syllable. It is a silent E syllable. Okay, it's a rule changer. It doesn't follow open and closed rules. It follows silent E rules. So that's the first one. Nose. I'm going to do nose. Let me move this up a little bit. So, N, O, and then remember, S can say S or Z. This is a long O sound. You can hear it, nose. So we know that it has to be a silent E word. So whenever you have a vowel and then the S or Z sound and it's long, and we know it's a silent E, which is another vowel. So if you remember when we studied the S rules, if it was vowel, S, vowel, that S says the Z sound. So we're going to write S. We're going to do the same thing as we did up here with the G, making it into the J sound, only we're going to put that this S is saying the Z sound. The E is still being bossy E. He's going, you say your name. Then he zips his lips. So that would be one of the exceptions. I noticed on the picture that Mom sent me, you did put the Z sound, but all of these you marked as open syllables, and they're not. This one, I need an eraser. This one would also be a silent E. Remember, we name the syllable by what is controlling it. What's controlling it is the fact that there is a silent E here. Okay, going to the next word, space. So we're going to write down only what we hear. So we hear S, P, and A. Oh, okay, it's saying its name. Let's go ahead and put that here. And then we hear a S, space. We know that since there's a consonant here, and this A is long, this has to be a silent E word. Now we have to decide, what are we going to use? Are we going to use the S or are we going to use the C? Well, let's think about this. If C is followed by an E, I, or Y, he says it's S sound. If we wrote S here, there would be a vowel, then an S, and then another vowel, and that would mean that S would have to say Z. So we cannot use him. We have to use the C. So again, you have to put the swishy arrow. You say your name. C zips his lip, or E zips his lips. Our C, we have to write that he is saying S. And again, it is a silent E syllable. Okay, on size, you have it correct. So I'm not going to talk about that one. Fine is correct. Mice. Let's do mice. I, and then we're not quite sure what we're going to use here, but since this says his name, we know good old silent E is back there. So mice, do we use an S or do we use a C? Just like in this word up here. If we used an S because there is a vowel and then an S and then another vowel, that S would have to say Z. So nope, cannot use S. We have to use C. So the swoosh arrow, you say your name, zip his lips. This C is saying the S sound, and yet again, it is a silent E word. You have late right, huge. Okay, let's talk about huge. Okay, what do I hear? I hear you. I'm not sure here. It could be a G or it could be a J. I know the silent E is back here. So I'm going, C rule and G rule is very similar. C rule is, whoops, sorry about that, hon. C rule says whenever C is followed by an E, I, or Y, it will say the S sound. Always. 100% of the time. Never, never, never changes. G, if it is followed by, I said these wrong as I was writing them. E, I, Y equals S. G, if it is followed by an E, I, or Y, it may, if it wants to, say the J sound. Now, I'll be honest, in most of the words at your grade level, if it has a G followed by one of these three letters, it's going to say the J sound. But as you're reading, as you go farther in the grades, it can go back and forth. Like in the word get, it's one of the high frequency words. This G is followed by an E, but it still says the G sound. But it is allowed to say the J sound. With C, it's 100% of the time, if it's followed by any of those three letters, it will say the S sound. 100% of the time, never changes, hard, fast rule. G is a little bit more, well, maybe it will, maybe it won't. Okay, so we hear a J sound here. Just for remembering about our rules, J, the J sound is almost always at the beginning of a word. So we notice, here's Mr. E. We know that he is making the you say his name, jumping over, you say your name, zip his lips. But it also means that just because G is standing next to E, she can say her J sound. And in the word huge, do you hear it? You hear the J, but we use a G letter because this J sound is not at the beginning of a word or the beginning of a syllable. Yet again, it is a silent E word. Okay. Let's do rice. I'm looking at the diagramming you did with Mom. Okay, so I'm writing I. Oh, I know it's a long I because I can hear it. I'm going to rice. Am I going to write an S or am I going to write a C? I know it has to be a silent E word because that is what's going to make this vowel say his name. Again, he zips his lips. Okay, if I was to put an S here, that would mean because there's a vowel and an S and a vowel that this S has to say Z. And we do not say rise. Not when, well, that is a word, but we're not spelling rise. We're spelling rice. So that means I have to use a C. He is saying the S sound, and again, he is a silent E word. Let me see if there's any other words. Okay, it doesn't look like there's any other words that I think you'll have trouble with. If there are, have Mom go ahead and text them to me, and we can cover it over YouTube. If you have any questions just in general, have Mom text me or give me a call. We can go through that. I'd like you to go ahead and diagram these same words tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Bring them with you to class on Wednesday. I'm assuming your spelling test will be on Thursday or Friday. If it's on Friday, go ahead and diagram them again on Thursday, because I really want your brain to help get this in there so that you can get 100% on your spelling test. Have a great night, hon. Bye-bye.